Hey everybody, welcome to Nerd Rap Media's How to Submit to a Film Festival. I'm Jesse Nyander and I'm going to actually show you how to do that. I run a couple local film festivals, including the Horsetooth International Film Festival in Northern Colorado, and I've been getting a lot of questions on submissions and problems, and I've been noticing a couple hiccups in the game. So I'm here to show you what you need to do and don't do when you're submitting to film festivals. Before we go too far, guys, I need y'all to like and subscribe to Nerd Rap Media. I'm gonna do this or this or this, wherever you gotta go, it's outside of my view. Do it. Yes, you finally have finished your film. Thank God, we got a film done. Now, you've got the task of submitting it to some of your favorite film festivals and some you've probably never seen before. And that's what we want to talk to you about. What you're going to need to do is budget for marketing and submissions whenever you're budgeting your film at the beginning of the process. Just like anything else, you're going to need to market this thing to production. A lot of people say that you need to save about half as much as you spend on everything else. So for instance, if you spend $3K on your film, you're going to need to save about $1,500 to $3K in order to spend that on marketing from that project. That'll probably end up costing you, instead of $3K, it'll cost you between $4.5 to $9K to get your film done. So remember that. If your film is going to cost $3K, you're probably going to need another $3K to complete your film in the marketing process. When you're budgeting for your production, budget for your marketing. What I recommend is that you budget between $500 to $1,000 for submitting to film festivals on FilmFreeway. That's going to allow you to gain laurels, and laurels will help you grow as a filmmaker because they show your legitimacy as a filmmaker and also show how serious you are. The more laurels you have, the more likely you are going to get someone to invest in your next feature or short film or music video. Just keep that in mind. Now let's talk about places to submit for a second. Now, I've been talking about it, but FilmFreeway is the #1 place to go in the world right now. They found a way to streamline film submissions for festivals all around the world. I'm not saying that other festivals aren't legitimate. This is just the fastest way to get as many festivals submitted to as possible. If there are festivals out there that you want to submit to that are not on FilmFreeway, by all means do it. I want to talk to you more about laurels. Laurels are super important. I know I mentioned them earlier, but let me describe them a little bit better. Basically, if you look on any film that has hit any festivals, that is getting any kind of distribution, they'll have these little things on there. The little laurel right there is freaking currency in the film world. The more laurels you gain, the more power you have to get the money you need. If you're on FilmFreeway and you've actually won an award or been selected to submit, they'll actually help you create a laurel right then and there. Without further ado, let's get into the things you're going to need to submit your film. I'm going to make a list and pop about right here. It's a big list, and we're going to go through every single one of those. All right, first thing on the list is project title. Pretty self-explanatory at this point. If you don't have a title for your film, you're kind of in a bad spot, so reevaluate where you're at in this whole process and then come back to this video. Now, I have to bring up my phone here because I can't remember the list, but the 4 or 5 options that you have are film/video, script, music and songwriting, photography/design, or VR, XR, or immersive video. Now, for the sake of this video and what we're doing, we're going to be sticking directly to filmmaking. So what you're going to probably select for this is the film and video section. Super easy. It's a button click. Moving on. All right, so the next thing you're going to need is a brief description or a synopsis to your film. I'd keep this pretty thin, probably like 4 or 5 sentences at the most. A lot of film festivals are going to copy and paste this into their program to use as a description to tell people what your film is about. Pretty simple. If you know your script like the back of your hand, just write out a little description that doesn't give anything away and kind of gets people excited about it. Next thing is submitter info. Pretty basic here. You, if you're submitting, put your info in there. All right, let's talk about credits. More than anything, on FilmFreeway, it allows you to put in credits if you want to. Get your credits in there. All right, now we're to specification types. Now there's a short list of these in here that I'm gonna read off my phone because there's so many, but you have a choice from animation, documentary, experimental, feature, music video, short, student, television, web/new media, or other. Now, your film should be able to fit into some of these categories. If they do not, send it my way. I want to see this weird movie, because if it doesn't even fit in the category of other, you've blown my mind already. All right, the next thing on the list seems simple enough, but it's genre. Yeah, you know what genre your film is, right? right? Well, if you don't, I have a huge list right here that you can pick from. But more than anything, you can type in whatever you want on FilmFreeway. You can make up a genre for all I care. But here's the most traditional genres that exist and that the Academy recognizes, all right? So your genres are action, adventure, comedy, crime, drama, fantasy, historical fiction, horror, magical realism, mystery, paranoid fiction, philosophical, political, romantic, saga, satire, science fiction, my personal favorite, social, speculative, thriller, urban, and western. Now I'm gonna put at the bottom of this video down the link, a nice little tag to a wiki page that tells you exactly what all those genres are. Runtime, I wanna talk about runtime. Pretty simple, know how long your film is. The reason I wanna bring this up even more is the fact that runtime plays a big part whenever we're picking films for the festival. If your film is an hour long, you have completely limited yourself to the feature category, and you're gonna take up an hour and a half of the festival. For instance, with the Horsetooth International Film Festival, I want to be able to have like a block of shorts and a block of features. This allows us to show more short films and then like one feature every night. So I recommend, especially as a new filmmaker, to only do short films in the beginning. Once you get past that realm of doing short films and people actually want to invest in you, get a following, all that stuff, work on features. You got to remember, guys, a lot of people that go to these festivals and stuff, they're trying to see as much stuff as possible. And if they have to sacrifice an entire feature to watch several shorts that are possibly just a little bit better than your film, they will do it and you won't have an audience. So remember that when you're submitting your film or even whenever you're making your film, runtime allows you to get into more festivals. The shorter your film, the more film festivals you're going to get into. All right, let's talk about your completion date. Now, I know it's kind of confusing what you're supposed to do, but as a filmmaker myself and someone who runs festivals, completion date should be the latest you can possibly make it. The reason is that most festivals will accept it up to 2 years after it's been made, but then after that, you got to make something new to submit. You can't be submitting the same film for the last 10 years. So make it as late as you possibly can, because that means you'll be able to keep submitting further down the road. Also, I do recommend that you make more movies and not just plan to do one film, because that's going to make you a better filmmaker. But if you have one that you're really trying to get out there, remember you have about a 2-year window. Now, a lot of festivals, they only want it after about a year. So think about that whenever you're going to your completion date. All right, the next thing on the list is country of origin and country of filming. Country of origin is usually where your production house is. Like if you're making a film and you're shooting around the world, but then you like are finishing your film in like France, you need to put down France as the country of origin, because that's where your film is probably going to be original languages from and everything. Country of filming actually tells us where you were filming at. If you shot in 50 different places around the world, but you're editing in France, tell us all the places you filmed in the world. That's what country of filming is. Let's talk about language. Any film that's shot in any language around the world, the number one thing that most festivals are going to ask for is English subtitles. I think that's the most common language that films are being seen in the world, and that's what they want to see. Shooting format. This next thing on the list, it seems super easy. It makes sense. A lot of people are shooting in digital right now. Great, put down digital. But if you have the access to film, you need to put down, like, if you're an 8mm to 16mm, like whatever you're shooting on. That's what this category is literally for. Just remember what you shot on. And all the shooting format information, I actually put a link to in the description below, so go check it out. The next thing I want to talk about is aspect ratio. Most common is 1920 by 1080, but people could send us like 1:1s, which is usually what dome films are in, which 1:1 is a square, and then we take that and project it up onto a dome. But then you got like super ultra wide, which is 3:6, which is where you get those like awesome black bars at like big theaters. You know, we just need to know that stuff, so whenever we give it to our projectionist or whoever, we need to be able to transfer it and make it look as big and beautiful as possible. All right, the next thing on the list is film color. Pretty cut and dry here. Either you filmed in color, you didn't film in color, so it's black and white, or you filmed in color and in black and white. You literally have 3 options at this point, so know what you shot. Pick the category. The next thing is first-time filmmaker or student filmmaker. Another self-explanatory thing. Are you a first-time filmmaker? Are you a student filmmaker? More than anything, these will allow you to get into a couple different festivals out there. This will allow your festival judges to know where you're at in your process and either help you get further along the line or show you what you need to do to improve yourself. All right, the next thing on the list is distributions and screenings. Basically, a lot of festivals look for world premieres at their own festivals. Things like Sundance, Cannes. They want your film to be a world premiere there. It had not shown anywhere else yet. Great, put that into your list. That'll let them know if you have been seen somewhere else. There are hundreds of other festivals out there that actually use that to their advantage. If they see that you were in Cannes or you were a finalist for Sundance or whatever, there's a good chance they're going to want that to be part of their festival because they know that it's going to be a good film. So make sure you put down the correct information. If you've had more than one, make sure you put down more than one. Like I said, it allows us to see what you're doing out there in the world, and we want filmmakers that are making rounds. We want filmmakers that are doing bigger things than that they can do. All right, the next thing on the list is subtitles. I talked a little about this earlier, but basically you need to figure out what subtitles you're going to use. Most people want to see English subtitles. That's the most common language spoke on the earth with film, so that's what they want to see. Figure out how to do that. There are plenty of websites out there that can do that for you. Also, once you've created your subtitles, even if you have to go through and type them by hand and then put them in there, you can hard burn them through VLC, which I will leave as a link below to a video that shows you how to do that. All right, the next thing on the list is thumbnail for your film. Super important. Basically, what happens is whenever your film is frozen on the waiting to play screen, festival organizers can see what that is. You need to pick out something cool from your production. Another thing that a lot of people like to do on their thumbnails is if you've been around the country and you've been doing laurels and you've been getting laurels for your film, they'll actually make a title card that might just be the title or a still image from the film that has all of the laurels that they've been winning around the country. As a film organizer and a filmmaker, that still excites me because it lets me know that this person's out there just kicking ass in film festivals and getting accepted, and allows you to know that you have comfort and about to see something that's going to be amazing. Another thing to do with those laurels too is if you are doing like a best of 2020 or best of 2019, or your production house needs to put together a video, the thumbnail that should be frozen on, that I was waiting to be play on, should have all those laurels on it. If they're so small because you have so many of them on there, that's just as good. Like, put as many laurels on that starting thumbnail as possible, especially if you're trying to show like best of the year for your team. All right, stills from your film. This is pretty easy to do. A lot of film festivals want to just have some production photos to put into our VOD, or even just like have it available for people to view on our website. Those stills should be direct stills from your film. These will help people know what mood that the film is. So what I would do is I would put your film into whatever program you're going to use and take screenshots directly from that production. We don't necessarily want them as raw. We want them to feel like I'm taking a screenshot directly out of your film. So whenever you give us still shots, think of that. I want still shots directly out of the movie so I could take them and use them as reference points for people that are coming to the festival so they can know what kick-ass images they're going to see at the festival. It sounds super easy the way I'm saying it now, but you don't really think about it when you're going into production. BTS is great, but you only get 10 spots to put up pictures for your production and make them count. Make them awesome, make them beautiful, and maybe have like one team picture so we can have a visual if we need to give an award to you. Director bio is the next thing on the list. Super easy for some.
I hate mine!
Yeah, Sean doesn't like his that much. I don't really enjoy mine that either, but who really likes talking about themselves? That's kind of what you gotta do at this point in the director's bio. So what I would do is I just kind of break down some stuff about your skills and like what you like to do as a filmmaker. You don't need to go back in time to whenever you started touching a camera, whenever you were in junior high. No one cares about that. Whenever you're like 10 years out of college, no one gives a shit about your degrees. No one cares. Talk about what you've been doing the last like 5 years. Talk about where you're at as a filmmaker. Well, while we're here, let's talk about the director's statement. Director's statement is super important because it's specific to the film you're submitting. Your director's bio can be copied and pasted across all of your films. Who cares? Same as the picture. By the way, get a good picture of yourself. I want to see something that makes you look like a filmmaker. Right now, one of my main picture right now is me like talking to a crowd in a dome whenever I was showing one of my films from 2016. Yeah, great. Go get some headshots, but make them interesting, man. Like, we're going to be putting those into things. Spice them up. You're a director of film. You're not trying to get a job at the local university. Like, do something cool with it. At any rate, director's statement. Whenever you're talking about director's statement, this is about your film specifically. For instance, we put together this music video for the Beeves this year for the song called Mercy Be. We had a humongous amount of weaves throughout the production in order for us to get a final product. So in the statement that I put online, specifically because it was a 53-hour contest, I put, this music video was made in 53 hours and 14 minutes. I think we became and done something really cool with the production. All right, guys, let's talk about social media presence. Now, I know this is an option on FilmFreeway, but I want to go into this a little bit deeper. It's super important to your filmmaking process. Now, I know a lot of filmmakers, they just make a film, they put it out there, but whenever you're going into the filmmaking process, while you're shooting your film, you need to have people on set that are taking behind the scenes footage or taking behind the scenes pictures. This allows for people to have that FOMO, fear of missing out, where they think that they should be making films. They're like, oh man, that looks so awesome. That's what that stuff's for. Now, with the social media presence, especially like Instagram and Facebook, first off, if you don't have one for your production house, you should definitely make one for your production house. Second, a big thing is if you have a film that you're trying to put out there, especially a feature, or you're trying to get a little more attention on it, I'd make a social media for that film specifically. Also, websites. If you could build a website specifically to your film, that's awesome. What that does is Squarespace and a lot of these guys, they allow you to build a form that allows you to collect emails for like newsletters and stuff. So then whenever you guys are about to do a premiere or you need to send out information about the film, you can send that out to those emails. The point I'm trying to make is have a social media presence in order for your film to get further than the people that were on set with you. All right, everybody, let's talk about the poster for a second. I know it seems easy. You know, maybe you've thought of the poster before you even shot the film. A lot of people will do that. What I like to do is I like to make a collage of all the things that were in the film and make an animated poster out of it. That's my own style. Here's a couple posters real quick, you know, kind of show you like some of the more famous images from posters. What I recommend is kind of just taking some images from the film. They kind of collage together. That's the easiest way to do it. Another easy way to put something up is have like a single image from the poster and maybe the title or even just the title with some, you know, reviews if you wanted to. Cruise through some of your favorite films online to see how they did their posters, and it'll really kind of line things up for you. All right, we're on to trailers. Now, trailer is super important. If you don't know what a trailer is, a trailer is basically a little teaser for your film. You see them before every film you go to the theater for. The size of your trailer depends on how long your film's going to be. But whenever I'm going to make a massive trailer for my festival, I like to pull everybody's trailers and download them and put them up on our website or make a montage or some kind of like collage of those specific trailers so people can see what's going to be visually up on the screen. So get a trailer in, look at the trailers below and see which ones, you know, make sense to you. All right, the last thing on the list that is on that FilmFreeway fill out is articles about your film. This is an awesome thing that they have on here because if you have been pushing anything about your film, if anybody's been interviewing you, as a film organizer, I'm worried about butts and seat. And if there's a film crew out there that's working their butt off to like get their name in the local paper or in the national paper or any of this stuff, that means they're going to pull people in because they really care. If you're a student filmmaker, go talk to the student paper, have them do an article on you, give them some pictures. They're dying for material all the time. And then all of a sudden you have an article. Just give me something in there that shows that you're working your butt off to make this film go further than the edit bay. All right, we've depleted this list. It's done. Let's get it the hell out of here. Now what? Right? Now what you need to do is you've done all this stuff on FilmFreeway. It's time to start looking for festivals. Now the beauty about FilmFreeway, and like I said, I don't work for them. You know, they could pay me money if they want. You can get on their website, and if you already got your film uploaded, now you can go to their main page and you can start searching from like how much some costs to categories on films that you can submit. You can go as simple as like found footage festivals or like find your niche. And sometimes digging through these festivals will allow you to figure out what festivals are out there and what films you can make that'll actually do really well in those festivals. Well, what you do is you make your film and then you start submitting it to festivals and finding festivals that fit your niche a little bit. And that kind of like creates this like nice little bond between your audience and the films you're making. Like I said, though, just remember to save some money. You're probably going to spend upwards of $500 to $1,000 trying to get into these festivals. Another thing I want to bring up about submitting to festivals. This is something that I've had happen in the last couple of years of me running the festivals that I run. And I just want to bring this up to save you a little bit of money. Whenever you submit to a festival that's pretty fresh in the game, that if you've already submitted a film once, that's it. I know that you might think, oh, well, I qualified for a different category as well, so I need to submit it again. Yeah, great, but don't do that. Good chance that we're going to take your movies and move them around and where they need to fit according to like what we're trying to put out there as a program. If you're confused about that, hit us up at the festivals. There's a good chance that we'll respond. Say that you've submitted, but you want to submit to another category. They might even switch you over to a different category if you submitted to the wrong one. If you don't hear anything, it's because we have notifications dates, which is the next thing I want to talk about. Pay attention to notification dates. If you're submitting a film, take a look at the notification date. You could be submitting a film in September and the notification date may not be till next August. Do not hit up the film festival and ask them questions, why they haven't been selected yet or why the information hasn't come out yet. It's because we have a schedule that is being kept by FilmFreeway where we let everybody get to that notification date so we can get our submissions in, make correct judgments. And half the time, our cutoff date is about a month at the least out from our notification date so we can have the rest of that month to make sure that we pick the best films for our festival before we notify you. Now, only because I've had a couple problems with this, pay attention to what it is to run your film on an online website. That means you're going to be getting sent emails. If these emails are being sent to a junk box or whatever, you need to change that up. If you're not receiving emails on the notification day, that's a big problem too. So our job is to get that out to you and we try to get that the day of. Please, if you're submitting to an online festival, pay attention to your emails and make sure you know that your film has been selected. And if you're not sure if it's been selected or you're confused, email us because I don't want you to be embarrassed and I don't want you to feel like that we're not taking care of our filmmakers because we love our filmmakers. So make sure you're paying attention, y'all. It's what I'm begging all these filmmakers out here to do. All right, y'all, I've done my best as a festival organizer to give you as much information I can about submitting to film festivals. If you have any questions, feel free to comment below or send us a personal message, because if there's a bunch of stuff that I didn't address in this video, I will make another video to get that information out to you. We are doing our best to get you this information as fast as we can because I want you to feel comfortable submitting to festivals, and we need more films out there. People are hungry for content. Go out there and make more films. We will talk to you soon. Nerd Rap Media, like and subscribe. See you soon.